For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Camping and Leisure with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a bit of a review video on a brand new product from Outwell. So this here is the Outwell Stone Lake range. So the Stone Lake range comes in two different sizes. They do a 5ATC and then a 7ATC. With me today I've got the 7ATC. ATC basically stands for Air Technical Cotton. So as you can imagine, it's basically a polycotton material. So it's actually breathable. The joys of polycotton actually is that because it breathes on a warmer day, the weave actually sort of expands, allows air to pass through it. So it's a lot sort of cooler on the inside. On the flip side of that, when necessarily it's essentially a colder day, the weave actually contracts and keeps the warmth in. So it reacts with the temperature, and again, also you find because it's more breathable, you get less condensation than you would with a normal polyester tent, which is probably what we're more used to. So it's kind of like that traditional cotton canvas. The other thing about polycotton as well is actually it's got kind of a natural feel to it. So rather than synthetically, when you get it, rustling, it's just pure canvas. So in winds, it's going to be quieter as well. It is necessarily a bit more heavier in terms of weight, but for me, it's a big benefit. And again, if you can spend the cost, a bit easier now with sort of interest-free finance that we offer here at Attwoolls, I think it works out really, really well. The 5 comes in one single bag, and like I said, you can pitch it as need be. The 7, it comes in 2 parts, one for the main body and then a separate bag for the canopy area, just making sure it's not all one big heavy lump in one bag, and it's a bit easier to pack it all up as well. Generally, you can just check out our own Attwoolls pitching and packing video. I pitched this on my own in the best part of about 14-15 minutes, which for something this size, said one person on their own, is pretty marvellous. And I will have to say, after pitching it, I think it must have to be probably, it's a gorgeous looking tent. I adore, the colour is so lush. It's beautiful blue, and yet again, with seasons that have always been greens, I think, and if you look at the polycotton range from other brands, for example, it's mostly grey, 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 or like a blacky grey. So having a nice blue in that fabric, I think is a real change. I don't think you'll find a better looking tent on the market really than that one. What Outwell have really tried to do, this kind of takes over from the Grey Cliff, which you may have saw in 2018, and it's what it try to do is get the tent down to a more affordable price point, rather than being sort of over £2 grand. It's just a little bit more cost effective. So to do that, they've actually sort of stripped back on all the elaborate features that you have known with Outwell in the years, but still kept the core items. So again, not compromised on the quality, but also necessarily you've still got things like tinted windows. So you've got privacy when you want to, but there's still curtains to get obviously full-on privacy when you want to as well. You've got kind of these nice two-tone matching garret points as well. Mesh ventilation doors as well, so both side doors and sort of the middle door has all mesh to it, so you can get a good circulation to help yourself keep it a bit cooler. Low-level ventilation as well beneath pretty much every single window, yet again to help get you a good sort of ventilation throughout the tent, as well as a really marvellous one right at the back as well. The 2 side doors, like I said, you've got a full mesh part in here, but because they actually roll up rather than your traditional D door, what you can actually do is actually buy some king poles separately, pull that out to make a little canopy, and just give yourself extra room. I mean, because you're not actually coming out any further than the guy ropes as such, you're still on the same sort of pitch. Generally, if you like the concept of this, but the price point's a little bit scary, you can get the same kind of size from Outwell called the Belleville. And the Belleville, yet again, comes to the 5 and the 7. And yet again, size-wise, the 7's basically exactly the same, pretty much. The only real difference is when it gets to the 5, 5's a little bit shorter in length. That's my little dog, Arch. You're okay, Archie? And yeah, again, into the canopy itself, because it actually zips on the part, you could in theory pitch the main body as you wanted to. The only thing I would say is the front panels and the zip stuff aren't waterproof. So if it's a nice day, there's no reason you can't make this smaller. Again, for drying out, because it's polycotton, needs to be bone dry when you pack it away. You've got that option as well, so it's a bit easier. And you can see, just merely by pegging the main 4 corners, pegging out and going out, you can get it aired out quite nicely. When we're talking on the front part of it all, so you've got these beautiful big PVC windows at the front, and one we're looking on the canopy in a minute. Literally, when you're standing there, you've got a beautiful panoramic view around everything, because you've got windows positioned everywhere, but again, like I said, curtains as well. Rugged storm straps on the front and back allows you to go to give it more rigid, and yet again it helps to really get that canvas looking taut as you like. And like I said, as you can see pitched here, canvas is so much nicer to pitch, and it's easier to get it looking really pucker. The door system, as you can actually unzip the front door, and you can bring it back sort of, roll it back sort of halfway, or fully roll it back and then sort of roll it down to the side as well. So you've got, have it as one big open front canopy if you wished. But generally, we'll talk about a few more features about different bits and bobs on the inside in just a moment. So let's have a look and see what it has to offer. So now we're inside Stone Lake, you can kind of really get a grasp for the phenomenal amount of room you've got inside of here. The width on here is absolutely loads, and that's the joys of it, making it feel almost, yeah, it's basically your home away from home. And the joys of this actually is that a really good sized canopy area, a very good living area as well, and the ability to completely remove this door and have it as one big open space. If it's chucking it down in rain, it doesn't matter, because you know, even with tables or chairs, larders, whatever you want to take away with you, you've got tons of room to put it everywhere. Canopy, like I said, is really nice and deep, and having that sort of front door open, I think it's really smart. I just kind of like the whole, I don't know, look, it's a kind of tent that looks very elegant. I don't know how to explain that, but it's something that looks, yeah, just right, really. A ground sheet is supplied with the front area here as well, so if you want to make it completely sealed up, you can do. I have actually noticed there also is a 2 zip pullers on, well, 4 zip pullers actually, on the front part, so you can actually unzip it down and create like a little veranda, so you get a circulation of air without having sort of the wind coming in underneath. So I think that's a really good thing. I'll just roll it down like so at the moment. You've got like privacy curtains on the inside, and they basically just simply kind of toggle down. It's the same with all the curtains actually pretty much in the whole tent. So it's a little bit of a shame that it's not zip curtains at this level, but I think it's more to keep the price point a bit keener. So you can toggle the curtains down quite happily, and you still get the privacy that you want to, like so. And then you've still got low level ventilation from the outside. There's also a clip down located down here as well. So the ground sheet that is supplied for this area is a little bit of a riser, so it feels like a bathtub and makes it almost feel sewn in, but the versatility of none. Yeah, again, the same when we go into the canopy area here, you've got, that can drop down like so, so you have no kind of lip in and out of the model. And I've just put the door sort of halfway back. I've kind of just mocked it up. Admittedly, this is a sample model, so I'm not sure whether it's a finished article or not, but I would think there should be some sort of tab to hold this in place. Currently I've just stringed it up at the back at the moment, just to kind of give a door in halfway. But the actual ventilation system as well, so you've got a blank panel here, but there's also obviously a mesh throughout there, so you can get a good circulation kind of throughout the tent itself. And yet again, I think what's quite nice is actually you've got a darker bedroom section at the back, but it's quite light in here. And yet again, like I said, they are officially darkening the ground sheet a little bit because it is a bit light. But with a footprint in place anyway, it's not going to matter too much. So that's where, yet again, the footprint is going to be very, very strongly recommended. Now, this dividing door can be completely rolled away. So we'll unpeg that. Just mock up my, and it can zip down. So it feels, like I said, it feels like one big open area space. And then you can either, you've got 12 points on the side to roll it up. Alternatively, I would just kind of tuck it out the corner. I think it just saves you hassle of having a big wodge there and makes it all feel kind of homeless. Yeah, again, that bottom zip's completely detached. You can bring that down, and then you have got an ultimately flat runway in and out of the tent. So it's, like I said, completely seamless. And now I've done that, you can see the sheer amount of space you've got in this tent. It's very impressive, and I don't know what it is, but it feels, for a footprint it is, actually feels a lot bigger. And headroom, with that sort of Gothic arch style, it still allows you plenty of headroom in here. So I mean, even in the corners, okay, it's not the tallest in comparison to some other models on the market, but still, I mean, I'm about 6'2", so for most people, I imagine that would be fine. But in the middle, where the main importance is, it's not an issue at all. Especially in the bedroom as well, getting changed, not a problem. But I do like this actually. You've still got a hanging point for lanterns, as well as little sort of Velcro tabs located, so you can actually string the cord down if you wanted to, sort of the cable. down to cable entry points, and you're saying you've got one positioned here, you've got another one positioned here, another one positioned here, and the main sort of entry points for mains are located on both sides, one here and one exactly on the other side. So it doesn't matter which way your mains cable is coming into, you can more than happily accommodate it. In the bedroom area, you've got essentially it's a 7 berth on this model, obviously the 5. The 5 I'd probably say is more orientated as a comfy 4, whereas the 7 I'd say is more of a comfy 6. Just per person, that gives you a bit more space in the bedrooms. So yet again on here, you've meant to be a 2, 2, and then a 3 in the middle here. You've got a slightly darkened inner to make it obviously to hopefully not wake you up at the crack of dawn. And then you've got dividers between all the sections. So this can be one big open area. They are merely only toggle dividers, but it does give you a bit of privacy. And yet again, you've got a really nice big mesh panel right at the front as well, just to help with circulation, which you can, if need be, actually zip up. 2 big side doors, like I said, either side, which we saw from the outside, to give you circulation, alternatively making little mini canopies with the king poles. But then one thing I do like about this Outwell, sort of the main kind of, this sort of door here, between the 2 sections, has the versatility that it can be completely kind of opened up. So if I take it down and around, so you can take it to the middle. Let's just undo that point there. And actually, it kind of makes it feel, like I said, all more open plan. But you can roll this middle section up into a pocket down the bottom. And it just slots in that point there. You can really toggle your bedroom in place. And then, like I said, it's just kind of a seamless entry. And you've got a really nice flat runway when you do that, in and out of the bedroom. So if you've got wheelchairs or anything like that, or pushchairs, it's not easy. I need to peg the back part out, it seems to come loose. You've also got cable entry point into the inner bedrooms, which I think is brilliant. So you can actually charge your phone if you wanted to, more than happily next to yourself. So when your alarm goes off, you haven't got to get out the divider and then go in there. And you've got another one down the bottom here as well. Generally, because it's a polycotton tent that's a little bit heavier, what Attwool have done to kind of combat that is give you a sort of supersized bracer, sort of brace beams here. So they are a thicker diameter than you'll see in any of the other models. Yeah, again, it's just kind of to give it a bit more beefed up, just to handle sort of the slightly heavier weight of the fabric. Like I say, you've got 2 bags, one on the 5, Stone Lake 5, it's roughly about 36 kilograms, one single bag, whereas the 7 ATC is about 35 for the main bag, and approximately I think it's 12 for just the canopy part as well. But 2 separate bags, including the pump pegs and whatnot. But really smart model. Like I said, we're one we're going to try certainly have up on our indoor display showroom in Attwoolls, just off the M5. But I think for that sort of level of money, I think it's definitely worth seeing the product. And certainly, okay, I might not have the same spec as things like the Studland or the Anatara, but I don't know what it is, but it's got something about it that I just think it's kind of a really relaxing and very smart place. And certainly, I think the colour, for me, like I said outside is the boring range that, not boring, but kind of neutral range that there is. I think it lifts it a bit, and it just tends to look really, really smart. There are just a few more pockets, actually, sorry, in the inner bedrooms as well. So you can actually sort of store keys and phones and that sort of stuff. A little hanging point in the back here for a lantern as well. And sort of quite a good depth actually as well in the actual bedroom. So if you wanted to put sort of air beds and that sort of stuff in there, shouldn't be an issue. Camp beds might be a little bit of a push, but what they've done designed is a different system. So you've got a pulling point here. So rather than the typical bedroom where it sort of just slopes off gradually, this is kind of more boxy, so it comes out then down. So yet again, that should be happy to accommodate beds depending on what sort of height of high-rise beds they are. But double check, obviously, with us in store, and you can try our sort of products in store just to make sure. But generally, that's kind of our Attwoolls little review on the Stone Lake, the 5ATC, 7ATC. Any for more information, comment below, or alternatively, check our website for more details there. But let us know what you think as the new Outwell top of the range polycotton.